Okay, we're going to read The Boy Who Was Raised by Librarians by Carla Morris, illustrated by Brad Sneed. To children's librarians everywhere, may you be comforted by the knowledge that your daily small acts of kindness and service to children will result in adults who will do the same, and also to Ian Perks, who grew up in the Provo City Library. To Mom and Dad. Melvin lived in the Livington Public Library. Well, he didn't really live there. He just spent lots and lots of time there. He wanted to know a lot about everything. He was curious, and the library is a wonderful place to be if a person is curious. Everything had its place in the library, and Melvin liked it that way. His favorite books were always in their places, lined up on the shelves like soldiers, and his favorite people were always in their places behind the reference desk. When Melvin was barely tall enough to see over the counter, he started going to the library after school every day. He made sure to stop by the reference desk for a chat with the librarians. They were always happy to see him. "Hi, Melvin," Marge said. "How was school today?" Betty asked. "How's the weather out there?" asked Leola. Melvin loved the librarians. Whatever he was interested in, they were interested in it too. "Where can I find some information about snakes?" he asked one afternoon. "Well," said Marge, "how would you like to raise a snake all by yourself? Here's a great book, Raising Snakes in Your Bathtub, from cute baby racers to big, ugly cobras." Betty chimed in. "Here, dear, an arts and crafts book, making snakes in purses, shoes, and other matching accessories." "Hey, snake poems and blessings," added Leola, and she found 42 snake websites with just 3 keystrokes. That's how librarians are. They just can't help it. And that's why Melvin loved them. In first grade, Melvin and his class went on a field trip to a real field. That afternoon, he ran to the library to show his friends his treasure, a big mason jar filled with all kinds of bugs. "Look what I have," he called as he burst through the library doors. "Can you help me identify them?" "Melvin, don't run in the library!" Melvin tripped, and the jar sailed across the room. All 87 specimens of caterpillars, cooties, and creepy crawlies were loose in the Livingston Public Library. Marge, Betty, and Leola quickly organized an emergency rescue squad. The bugs were retrieved, identified, classified, and cataloged within 20 minutes. "How'd you do that so fast?" asked Melvin. "That's how we are," exclaimed Leola. "When we see chaos," began Betty, "we organize and catalog," finished Marge. "It's in our nature." She pulled out a field guide to insects and handed it to Melvin. To apologize, Melvin gave the librarians a lovely bouquet of flowers picked from the library's garden. Then he stopped to examine the aquarium next to the circulation desk. "Don't put your hands in the fish tank," Marge warned him. "But I was wondering," said Melvin, "how many kinds of fish are in the whole world, and all the lakes and all the rivers and all the seas? And how much does the whole world with all the dogs and cats and houses and cars and tractors weigh?" The librarians were very busy with other patrons, but Leola knew just where to find some answers for Melvin. She sat down at the computer with Melvin, and they found the answers together. She couldn't help it. That's how librarians are. In second grade, Melvin was cast as the enormous eggplant in the school play. He practiced his part with the librarians. "Now say your line again," said Leola, as she shelved the new Caldecott Award winners. "Project your voice to the back of the auditorium," said Marge, in an alarmingly loud and clear voice. "But be natural," said Betty. Try to look like you're not acting. She read aloud from Organic Gardening magazine to help him find his motivation. The audience gave the enormous eggplant a standing ovation. Melvin attended all the library programs. He was always the first person to complete the summer reading program. He loved the after-school specials and the Reader Rug book club and movie nights. He came to all the story hours, no matter the hour. But the spend the night at the library party was the best. Betty read the kids a bedtime story. Melvin curled up in his sleeping bag near the encyclopedias, surrounded by thousands of books. He felt rich and happy. In third grade, Melvin started a baseball card collection. He would spread the cards out on the table in the library and organize them into teams, players, and rookies. Betty showed him how to store them in acid-free, archival-approved boxes, and Leola found him a price guide on the internet. They couldn't help it. That's how librarians are. In fourth grade, Melvin entered the complete and unabridged A to Z spelling bee. Marge suggested he read the 100th edition of Words to Know every day after school. Not surprisingly, he won first place. In fifth grade, Melvin won both the gold and silver trophies in the Know Every Town, City, State, and Country in the Solar System Geography Contest. Marge, Betty, and Leola were so proud of him. They couldn't help it. That's how librarians are. In sixth grade, Melvin entered the extraordinary, completely out-of-your-mind science fair. The librarians helped him find information about all the projects that had ever won. Melvin came up with a winner. In seventh grade, he was picked to be on So You Want to Be the Smartest Kid. Marge, Betty, and Leola burst with pride as Melvin answered questions so fast that he blew out the circuits on the computer keeping score. Every day after school, year after year, Melvin came to the library. When he was in high school, he even got a part-time job there. Marge, Betty, and Leola cried with pride and happiness at Melvin's graduation. "That's our boy," said Marge. "We helped him learn," said Betty. "All those books," said Leola. After Melvin left for college, he missed the Livingston Library and his librarian friends. He wrote them letters and emails about the books he was reading and the things he was learning. Years later, another boy came to the Livingston Public Library and loved it. "Hi, Sterling," Marge said. "How was the field trip?" Betty asked. "Do you need help identifying those bugs?" asked Leola. "We can identify, organize, and catalog in no time. We can't help it," said Livingston's newest librarian. That's how we are. Red-legged